Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into the source material to uncover a premise that absolutely blew my mind when I first started digging into it. We are looking at two staggering megacities in modern China that operate on a scale that honestly almost defies human comprehension. One manufactures the physical objects you touch every single day, and the other manufactures the dreams and histories you watch on your screen.
Have you ever stopped to think about where your world actually comes from? I mean, we rarely consider the sheer industrial scale required to produce our everyday reality. Whether it's the actual physical coffee cup sitting on your desk right now, or the grand ancient palace you saw in that historical drama on your TV screen last night. We take these things for granted, but they have to be painstakingly engineered somewhere, right?
And that illustrates our dual-track journey today. Yiwu is the undisputed king of the physical world. It's the city that literally builds the objects you hold in your hands. On the flip side, Hengdian is a city dedicated entirely to the cinematic world, manufacturing the grand historical sets and illusions we see on our screens.
So here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, cities building the world. Then, Yiwu constructing physical reality. Followed by Hengdian architecting cinematic dreams. After that, experiencing the grand illusion. And we'll wrap up with the realities of replication.
All right, let's jump into part 1, cities building the world. And moving right along to part 2, Yiwu, constructing physical reality.
So modern China has essentially engineered two completely different but equally jaw-dropping testaments to human scale and imagination. These aren't just large towns, they're fully self-contained universes designed to supply the globe with physical goods and visual media. Let's start with Yiwu. It's the physical engine of the world's commodities, known as the largest wholesale market on Earth. The sheer math of this place is almost impossible to comprehend until you break it down. 100,000. That's the number of individual commercial shops located inside the Yiwu International Trade Market. To put that into perspective, if you spent just 3 minutes visiting each shop for 8 hours a day, it would take you well over a year to visit all of them.
And that massive footprint requires 5 million square meters of space. We're talking about the equivalent of roughly 700 football fields under one roof, selling literally everything you can imagine. From hardware and toys to jewelry and home decor, it's a true endless labyrinth of global commerce. Because the scale is just so insanely vast, you can't casually walk it. Buyers actually ride motorized electric suitcases indoors just to navigate the endless market aisles. It sounds hilarious, but it's a sheer necessity. People are literally zipping down the halls on their luggage just to make it from the toy district over to the cosmetics district before closing time. Now, the sheer absurdity of the wholesale pricing here dictates the global supply chain. Check this out. You can buy fitness equipment for $1.30 per kilogram. You can buy highly realistic squishy fake bread, scented to smell exactly like a bakery for just 85 cents a piece. Or, as one buyer documented in our sources, you can get a completely random mix of 20,000 global flags for just $700 total.
Wild, right?
But behind all those massive numbers is some incredible on-the-ground human hustle. I absolutely love this quote from an auntie who sells clothing in the market hallways. She says, "I don't even pay store rent here, but I bought 2 villas in the city." She literally built a real estate fortune just by matching buyers to products right there in the aisles. The opportunity for wealth generation in Yiwu is staggering.
Which brings us to part 3, Hengdian, architecting cinematic dreams.
If Yiwu manufactures the physical objects in your home, Hengdian manufactures the pure imagination that streams into your living room. It is the Hollywood of China. To understand this scale, picture 22 square kilometers. That makes this film studio 10 times bigger than the entire Disneyland resort. It's the largest film studio complex on Earth. And guys, it's not just a bunch of empty sound stages.
They didn't just build movie sets here, they built entire ancient civilizations. We are talking about a full-scale, one-to-one replica of the actual Forbidden City. They've resurrected the Qin Dynasty upon Palace, perfectly recreated the streets of 1930s Shanghai, and built bustling Song Dynasty cities. It's a literal timeline collision all happening inside one massive complex, where 70 to 80% of all Chinese period dramas are filmed.
And the best part? It's not just for professional filmmakers. Hengdian doubles as an experiential theme park where everyday tourists can rent traditional Hanfu costumes and literally go wire flying through the air over the sets. You can get strapped into a harness and safely fly over a faux empire, fully living out your martial arts fantasies. It's a completely surreal, totally immersive experience.
But, there is a much grittier reality contrasting these majestic palaces. Thousands of background actors known as Hengdian drifters flock here to chase their Hollywood dreams. Some even specialize as professional corpses, lying in the dirt in the background of epic battle scenes to earn maybe $15 to $20 a day. It's a tough, highly competitive survival ecosystem hiding right behind those glamorous camera lenses.
Okay, moving on to part 4, experiencing the grand illusion.
What's really fascinating is that both of these massive megacities, as completely different as their outputs are, rely heavily on the brilliant art of illusion to function. There's a direct parallel here. Yiwu fakes global craftsmanship, producing authentic-looking trinkets for tourist traps worldwide. Hengdian fakes history itself to create immersive, emotional worlds for our screens. Both are absolute masterclasses in replication.
Digging into the sources reveals just how perfectly engineered these illusions actually are. EVA manufactures souvenirs for highly obscure tourist locations like Guyana and Bhutan. Meanwhile, over in Hengdian, those majestic, heavy Taihu garden stones you see in imperial gardens, yeah, they're actually made of hollow foam. Yiwu quietly produces 90% of the entire world's Christmas decorations. And in Hengdian, just to save a few bucks, TV emperors will film a scene living, ruling, and dying all in the exact same room on the same day. They just change the camera angles.
And that brings us to our final section, the realities of replication. So anchoring all these mind-boggling statistics back to your everyday life. The objects we hold and the history we consume are both meticulously engineered in these twin cities of scale. From the cheap plastic toys sitting on your shelf to the sweeping grand palaces on your TV, our whole perception of the physical and cultural world is heavily shaped by the quiet, massive efficiency of these two incredible locations.
Which leaves us with a pretty big question. If the replication coming out of these cities is this massive, this accessible, and this perfect, does the line between authenticity and illusion even matter anymore? Whether it's a perfectly molded souvenir magnet or a beautifully crafted foam palace, if it sparks joy or genuine emotion, maybe the illusion is just as good as the real thing. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to keep exploring the incredible supply chains that build our world.